I have one for you guys. So, you know the difference between fiction and nonfiction. The way these people work is they have to put it in plain sight. They have to tell you the truth without telling you the truth. So you have to use your own critical thinking skills to see through the manipulation, through the subliminal messaging. Okay? Here you go.
Hey Grover, this is the fiction section. Fiction means it's a made-up story. Fiction means it's a made-up story. This is the fiction section.
So they put the globe there on top of the word fiction for a reason. And then they put the rocket there on top of the word fiction for a reason. Because they don't think people are smart enough to figure things out. You do not live on a spinning ball flying through the universe. That is fiction. No rockets can leave because we live in a firmament. This is why rockets always curve. They tell you, oh, it's because the rocket's gotta catch up to the motion of the earth. That's all hogwash. That's just what they tell you because they need you to believe. They're garbage. Otherwise, the rocket would go straight up and out, but it doesn't. And sometimes you can see it hit the firmament. Elon shows you. Those with eyes to see will see. Those with ears to hear will hear. It's time to wake up.
Now this is exactly what I'm talking about when north to south circumnavigation has been done 0 times. But if you haven't seen my last video, go check it out. But anyways, here we go. So let's try going from Cape Town, South Africa to Auckland, New Zealand. Well, here we have Cape Town, South Africa to Auckland, New Zealand. Alrighty, hit search. 1 stop. Alright, let's look at the flight path. So here we got Cape Town to Doha. Then Doha to Auckland. So Google's most quickest and logical way to get from Cape Town, South Africa to Auckland, New Zealand is to stop all the way up in Doha, passing the equator. Oh, hold on, let me get this straight. We have Cape Town, South Africa right here and Auckland, New Zealand right here. But they want us to stop all the way up in Doha, passing the equator, which doesn't make any sense if we live on a supposed globe. So here we have Cape Town, South Africa right here and Auckland, New Zealand right here. Now the most fastest and most fuel efficient for the plane would be from Cape Town, South Africa to Auckland, New Zealand. Straight path, right over Antarctica. But no, they want you to stop all the way up in Doha. I think I know why, because Antarctica isn't a continent on the bottom side of a ball. It's actually an ice wall that surrounds us. So here we have the Gleason's map, which all pilots use, by the way. So here we have Cape Town, South Africa right here, Doha somewhere right here, and Auckland, New Zealand right here. Straight path. Like, ain't that weird, guys? Is that why in their flight dynamic summary assume a flat, non-rotating Earth? But please, send this to somebody that needs to see this. This is the truth about the sun used in the Bible. And first off, it's not a big ball of gas and fire. You have these pictures that you see are CGI. And honestly, ask yourself, if the sun was actually 93 million miles away, they'd be taking pictures like this? Absolutely not. This is what the sun actually looks like when you take a picture with a solar film. It's a perfect circular light like God created. It's like it says in the book of Genesis, verse 16, and God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, which is the sun, and the lesser light to rule the night, which is the moon. Verse 17, and God set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. This is what's really happening up there. The sun and the moon follow each other in a circuit. This is Psalms 19, verse 6. This is talking about the sun. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. Or in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 5, the sun also arises, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to his place where he arose. The sun goes back to where it rose because it is moving in a circuit. Now you're probably asking yourself, why does the sun rise and set? And honestly, that's just how it appears. It's called the law of perspective. All that's happening is the sun is getting further and further away from your vision, which causes it to appear to go down. Now this is an example of law of perspective. Notice how the light poles further down appear smaller and further away, but the ones here appear much larger and taller. Like, anyone can observe this. Just watch a plane leaving or coming towards you. The same exact thing.
Here's one conundrum that the globies have never been able to answer. There is such a thing as perihelion and aphelion. Now, this is where perihelion, on January the 4th, is the day when the sun is closest to the earth at the Tropic of Capricorn. And aphelion is the day when the sun is furthest away from the earth in the Tropic of Cancer. And they tell you that the sun is 5 million miles further away from the earth at the Tropic of Cancer than it is when it's in Capricorn. 5 million miles? I remember in school and in church they would say that if the earth were just 1,000 miles or 10,000 miles or 100,000 miles closer to the sun, we would be drawn into the sun by its gravitational force and we would burn up. Why is it we're 5 million miles closer to the sun, and yet the gravitational pull does not suck us into the sun? Can you see how ridiculous their lies are and easy to expose?
Alright, this is for all the globe zealots defending NASA out there. Go and Google when Pluto was first in cartoons. Then go Google what year the planet Pluto was discovered, and it's the same year. Now I know you guys like to say the word coincidence a lot, but don't you just find it hilarious that Pluto is on Pluto? It's time to wake up, guys. They're laughing in your face.
This famous YouTube pastor Vlad made this post on YouTube the other day before he took it down hours later. Luckily I have a screenshot. Evidence that the earth is round and not flat. This guy has about 1.5 million followers and a large megachurch. Now I'm not here to attack him, but I just want to show you guys how false this actually is. So he's providing his quote-unquote evidence here that the earth is round and not flat. Here's point number 1. We have pictures of earth from space, he claims. Alright, so if you did a little bit of digging, we know that the most famous picture of the quote-unquote Earth is the blue marble. So the blue marble is claimed to be a photograph of Earth taken on December 7th, 1972, from 18,000 miles from the planet's surface. But if you go to NASA.gov, you type in Robert Simon, aka Mr. Blue Marble, they will tell you how they created this CGI photo, just like they create the rest of them. So first off, they start off by telling you they actually get these photographs from low Earth orbit. And this is from NASA's website, by the way, the people that you're supposed to be trusting. The hard part was creating a flat map of the Earth's surface with 4 months of satellite data. So this wasn't a photo, this was 4 months of satellite data of the Earth's surface from low Earth orbit. Then we wrapped the flat map around a ball. That ball became the famous blue marble. So how are we going to trust them when they say this is a photograph, right? The blue marble is a photograph taken from 18,000 miles away. But then we have NASA's website telling us that it's a flat map that they created with 4 months of low orbit satellite data and then wrapped around a ball. His next point goes on to say, the reason why New York and London have different times is because when it's daytime in one place, it's nighttime in the other. That happens because the earth is round, not flat. Now this one is easily debunked in the scriptures. Hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it. And there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. Right, so the Most High let us know that the sun moves in a circuit. like a strong man to run a race, right? You run races on a circular track. This is why we have daytime and nighttime. Because the sun is just a great light, right? God made two great lights, and God set them in the firmament of the heaven, right? The sun and the moon are local. There is no such thing as outer space. This is a big old fairy tale. Here's his next point. Gravity pulls everything toward the center, making planets naturally form into round shapes, not flat ones. This is a fundamental law of physics. Okay, so he just claimed that gravity is a law. Gravity is actually still a theory. Gravity's never been proven. It's not a law. The reason that things drop, it's not due to some magical force. It is due to that pen being more dense than the air that I just set it in. There's no such thing as gravity. It's a theory. We go by real science, not made up theories. And then once again, he said astronauts in space have taken many pictures of the Earth, clearly showing it's round like a ball. Oh, we already debunked that one. Satellites and space stations orbit around the Earth because it's round. If it were flat, they couldn't go all the way around. Satellites are not orbiting the Earth. They are sitting at a high altitude on balloons. What you're seeing here is the quote-unquote Chinese spy balloon that we had in 2023. All this was one of their satellites that drifted too low out of the ether. Right, NASA is actually the largest helium consumer in the world. You can look up Project Echo. Project Echo was the first passive communications satellite, right? It's just a massive balloon. Look at that. This is how they keep most of them up there. So I just challenge you guys to actually do your research before you listen to people who are just programmed and conditioned by their own beliefs. Right, the scriptures say, let God be true, but every man a liar. Right, the scriptures say, fear before him all the earth. The world also shall be stable, that it be not moved. The Lord reigneth, he is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. The world also shall be established, that it cannot be moved. NASA in Hebrew means to deceive. The scriptures say that the earth cannot be moved. We are not a floating ball in space. We are at the center of the Most High's creation.
Do you want to know why when you flip a globe over, it says not for educational use, but decorative purposes only? It's because not only would you never get to where you're going, but if you did, you would add miles upon miles upon miles on your trip. I want you to look at the CBS American School of Air map used in 1943 for flight school. And I want you to look at this. Here is a scale. People always say, where's your flat earth map with a scale? Well, here it is. Not only does it have a scale, but it has this funny looking white border with all this outlined mapped terrain. What could that be? What could that be, I wonder? Not that continent at the bottom of the globe, something else that surrounds it. Now I want you to look at this map, and I want you to look at New York, and I want you to look at the path you would take from New York to Moscow. Okay, let's take a closer look. New York to Moscow, how's that gonna look on this map? Let's draw a line right straight across, and notice how it's going to cut through Greenland. Now let's look at what the flight path they show us actually looks like. So when you pull up the actual flight path, this is what it looks like. They make it so it arcs up to Greenland and then down to Moscow. And notice the distance is actually shorter on their curved line compared to this one if you were to just go straight from New York to Moscow. Why would that be longer? Think about that. Again, on the flat earth map. That's an actual map that flight schools used to use. Right through Greenland, and I want to show you why their straight line is actually a longer distance. Because this is what their straight line actually is on a real map. The map pilots use, the flat earth map. It adds distance because you go curve away from it to come back versus going straight across. Now I just want to give you another example of how their curved flight paths from LA to Japan, why would we do that? I'll show you. Because on the flat earth map, LA to Japan is actually an exactly straight line. You just fly across, and I want you to notice, where do they cut through? Alaska, and just on the edge of Russia here. Let's go back and look. Look again. LA, through Alaska, just to the tip, across Russia, and down to Japan. So again, this is on there because it has to be. Otherwise, everyone would be getting lost. Everyone. And the next time someone says, show me a flat earth map with scale and a key, take them to the CBS American School of Air Map and show them this. And say, here you go.
Ancient humans really wanted Earth to be the center of the universe. To be fair, when we look into the sky, it certainly seems like the universe is revolving around us. Each of the 7 wanderers were on their own rotating sphere. It creates a mechanism that shows how they can wander. All you have to do is watch Mars for a little while longer, and you'll notice something strange. At very regular intervals, it backtracks a little before continuing on its way. We call this retrograde motion. Ptolemy imagined planets revolved around the Earth on circular orbits.
Also, if we lived here, then there would be a 24-hour sun here and not down here. All these places in the north have a 24-hour sun. That's right, all of them. They say the South Pole has a 24-hour sun, but if the North Pole has a 24-hour sun and all the continents around it, then the South Pole and all of the continents around it should have it as well. Like Australia, but it doesn't. Or South America, but it doesn't.
Alright, I need y'all's help. Take one guess. Who is the single largest purchaser of helium in the world? Just take a guess. I'm going to show it to you in the slides throughout the video. We've all seen these, right? That's a really cool picture. I would almost think that were generated. That looks a lot more like it. Y'all are never going to guess who the single largest purchaser of helium is in the world. How about that? And how much do they use? That's a lot. And this is allegedly what they use it for. Believe that if you want to. Yeah, here's right off their website. So if we really need ROCKETS to put this up here, why are we buying so much helium?
It came in the mail and y'all are opening it with me. Ooh. Smell it. Woo! Here we go.
The Flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Eddie Alenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.